lesson, we discussed baby animals that are born, meaning they come from their mom's stomach. Okay, and then we had talked about baby animals that live in pockets, like the kangaroo and the possum. So this week, we're going to talk about the other way that some baby animals come into the world, and that's by hatching. So some animals will live in their mom's stomach, and they're born from their mom, but some baby animals will hatch from an egg. So their mom will lay the egg, but they'll hatch instead of, so the whole time that they're trying, before they're born, instead of living in her stomach, they will live inside of an egg, okay? So let's look at page 54 and discuss baby animals that hatch. So some animals hatch from eggs. Excuse me. Each animal has a different sized egg. Some eggs are different colors. Most baby animals that hatch from eggs do not drink milk. They eat other things. Okay, so some animals will hatch from eggs, and there are different kinds of eggs. So some animals will lay big eggs, some animals will lay small eggs. It really depends on the animal. Also, some animals' eggs are different colors. Most of the time we see eggs that are white or brown, but some animals have blue eggs. Some of them, their eggs have like a liquid covering, like it's like a clear covering over it. So all the eggs that animals lay are different. It just depends on the animal. So when a baby animal is inside of the egg, that's where it's growing. So instead of being inside the mom's stomach, it will grow inside of the egg. So whenever it's time, all the animals have a different time frame that they live inside of their mom's stomach, and whenever they're ready to hatch. So whenever they are ready to hatch, their mom does not help them come out of the egg. They do it on their own. Well, God gave them the instinct to do it on their own. Also, sometimes some moms will lay the egg and leave her babies. They're on their own. So God gave the babies a certain ability to be able to get out of the egg. God gave them what's called an egg tooth. They have what's called an egg tooth. So it's like a special tooth that they have when they're born. So this egg tooth helps them to crack out of the shell. If they did not have this egg tooth, they wouldn't be able to crack out of the shell. So whenever it's time for the baby animal to get out of the egg, that egg tooth that is going to grow with them as they're growing, they'll use the egg tooth to crack through the shell of the egg. So after they finally crack the egg and they come out of the egg and they hatch out of the egg, that's what it's called when they hatch, then the egg tooth falls off because it really was just there for the baby animal to use to get out of the egg, right? So the egg tooth will fall off once they hatch and they're outside of the shell. The egg tooth falls off, and because the baby animal doesn't need it anymore. Now, one thing that's different from baby animals that are born and baby animals that hatch don't drink milk from their mom. So remember we talked about kittens and all the other animals, possums, they all drink milk from their mom. Well, not with babies that hatch. They usually eat food, like they'll eat worms. Some of them will eat maybe plants. Some of them actually eat like food, like rats, like baby owls, they'll eat rats and stuff. So they don't drink milk from their mom. Their mom does not give them milk. So keep that in mind. Animals that hatch will not get food from their mom. They will eat other things like worms, lizards. Some of them will eat like other animals like rats. Their mom will feed them those types of things. So it really just depends on the animal. Okay, so that is how they get out of their egg. They have their egg tooth that helps them to crack the shell to get out of the egg. Okay, let's look at 55. So do you know what each of these animals will look like? So we have the baby chick. Whenever that's a baby, this is what it looks like when it hatches. And whenever it's grown, it will become a what? Chicken. The duckling. This is what a baby duckling looks like. Whenever it's grown and adult, it will become a duck. Alligator. They kind of look similar to their mom. But this is they're really small though. Alligators can get huge, but yeah, they're really small. And of course, we know that when it grows up, it'll be an adult alligator and then a tadpole. Whenever a tadpole hatches, this is what it looks like, but when it becomes an adult, it turns into a what? Frog. Okay. So let's talk about how tadpoles, on page 56, how tadpoles turn into frogs. Because when a frog lays her eggs, they are tadpoles, then eventually they turn into a frog. So whenever they hatch, they don't really look like a frog at all. And that's what a lot of baby animals, most of the time when they hatch, they don't look anything like their mom or their dad. They'll look totally different, but as they start to grow, you'll see that they start to turn into their parent. Like a red bird, for example, when their babies are first born, they don't look like they could be a red bird until they start to grow, and then their color will start to come in. So frogs. So some frogs change very much as they grow, baby frogs. At first, they do not look like their parents at all. So let's talk about how the the tadpole transforms into a frog. So the mother frog will lay her eggs, and she can lay like 20,000 eggs at one time. Yes, that's a lot. A lot of eggs, right? She can lay 20,000 eggs at one time. Now, all of those actually do not hatch because you have animals like turtles that will eat some of those eggs, okay? But for the most part, she'll lay 20,000 eggs at one time. So that's a lot of eggs, a lot of eggs. So she lays her eggs, then the eggs will eventually hatch, and they hatch into tadpoles. And they'll live strictly in the water. That's where tadpoles live. So if you have like a ditch or like some type of pond or anything, if you look closely at the water, you will actually be able to see tadpoles most of the time. If that's their season where they're hatching, you'll be able to see them floating around in the water swimming, because that's where they live. So whenever tadpoles hatch, they have gills, and gills help them to breathe air from the water. Okay, so as they are growing, they start to grow hind legs first, which are their back legs. So as the tadpole is starting to get older, it'll look like, like a little eel kind of first, and then eventually their back legs start to come out. That's their hopping legs. The back legs start to come out. Then after their back legs come out, then their front legs start to come out. And you can see that it's slowly transforming into a frog, right? It's not quite there because of that tail, but it's getting there. So they start with their back legs coming out, and then their front legs will come out, and then the tail will start to get shorter. And as you can see on number 5, it's starting to look more and more like a frog, right? Starting to look more and more like a frog. And so that tail, though, is there to help them swim. But if you know, frogs do live in water, but they also can, they live on land as well. So their tails will start to get shorter. So they're losing that tail where they strictly use to swim underwater. After the tail gets shorter, then we have a full frog that comes out of the water. And now they have lungs. So during this time, they're developing lungs so that they could breathe on land. We have lungs, right? Our lungs help us to breathe. And frogs also have lungs that help them to breathe as well. So the gills go away. Excuse me, they lose the gills, and then they'll have lungs so that they can breathe on land. And so that's how an egg, she will lay her eggs. It starts as a tadpole, and then eventually it turns into a frog. And so, like I said, some of them get eaten by fish and turtles, so you won't have all 20,000 come out of the water at one time, but you'll still have a lot of them. I know, like in the summer season, like in my backyard, we have frogs everywhere, all over the place. So if I find one, I'll try to catch them if I can find one, but I don't think they're around right now. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of them will come out of the water, and that's how frogs live. That's how they go from tadpole to frog. And a lot of baby animals will go through that process. They won't look anything like their parent when they're born, but as they grow, you'll start to see the changes that they'll go through. Their color will start to come in, their beaks will change, they'll get bigger, and then eventually they'll look just like the parent, right? That's how baby animals, that's how they work. So just like the animals that are born is the same, baby animals that hatch are the same in that aspect, where they look different as babies, but eventually they'll look just like their parents when they get older. Another difference is baby animals that hatch come from eggs. They don't live in their mom's stomach. They come from eggs, and they don't drink milk from their mom. They eat actual food. Okay. So on page 57, it's you can raise a frog. If you catch a tadpole somewhere, you can raise a frog. All right, so on 58, that's an activity, and on 59, that's another matching activity that you can complete on your own time. But this week, our lesson is strictly on baby animals that hatch, okay? Animals that come from their moms, the egg that their mom will lay. Okay, so that's our science lesson on this week on baby animals that hatch. Okay, so their mom lays the egg. They have the egg tooth that helps them to get out of the egg. And that's how they come out of the water eventually. All right, let's go ahead. And so tomorrow we'll look at some stuff. I'll show you what it looks like when they're hatching. We'll look at some videos tomorrow, okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on to social studies. Let's continue our tour in America. So now we are going to start visiting what's called national parks. So we know what a park is, right? I'm sure everybody's been to a park before. Well, in America, we have what's called national parks, which are protected by the government. So the government is who takes care of these parks. These parks are usually sites where people visit and tour because they have a lot of things in there that have a lot of history. So we are on page 53. So last week we went to Williamsburg, and then we started to travel west on last week, where we were in Virginia, Williamsburg, and then we started to travel west. We saw the Mississippi River and also the Great Plains. So now we are in the west, and we will be in the state of South Dakota. That's where we're going, South Dakota. Okay. That's the one state we're going to today. We have others, but that's one. Yeah. You better watch out for that mountain bird. Okay, so page 53.
Can I go to the restroom, guys? Excuse me.
I
already read this page.
Okay. Yeah, it was assigned for yesterday. We just go over it together in class on Tuesdays. Yeah, whenever she does it.
My brother cracked.
He cracked.
No, they sound weird.
All right, so let's go ahead. So we are on 53. So we are now visiting, like I said, the national parks. So national parks are protected by the government. The government is the place that will keep these national parks safe and preserve their beauty, because a lot of these national parks have a lot of natural things there, like things that just, animals that live on the land, lakes and rivers that are just naturally there. Some of them have some things that were built by men, but for the most part, these are places that you can visit to tour. So let's look at 53, and we will visit what's called Mount Rushmore. Okay, so this is in South Dakota. So again, let me show you on the map where South Dakota is. So we are in the west. We're moving towards the west, and we are in South Dakota here. Okay. So our next stop is in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Here we can see Mount Rushmore. It is a huge carving of the heads of 4 presidents. So this is a real thing and a real place. So someone, his name, well, I'm gonna get to that in a second. So it has the faces of 4 presidents. So it has Abraham Lincoln. I mean, we can recognize Abraham Lincoln. George Washington is on the other end. And then the 2 in the middle are Theodore Roosevelt and Thomas Jefferson. So these men were presidents at one time. Remember, George Washington was the first, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th, and then we have Thomas Jefferson and Theodore Roosevelt that were also presidents as well. So this Mount Rushmore, his name was Goodson Borglum, he took time to carve out the faces of these presidents. You know, I guess he chose those 4 because maybe they were, you know, great presidents, you know, versus all the rest. So he chose to carve out their image on this mountain. So it was a regular mountain initially, but then he decided he was going to carve out their foreheads, you know, on the mountain. So of course they use a lot of dynamite, blowing up pieces of the mountain, you know, a lot of tools and drills to try to drill and get all the shape of everything, the shape of their eyes, the hair, the nose, all of that. He worked on it for 10 years, but then he died and it was not complete. So he worked on Mount Rushmore for 10 years before he died, but he had a son and his son finished the job for him. So his son was able to get the job completed. So it took 14 years total to complete this whole thing. 14 years. So this took them some time to work on this mountain and to get it done. 14 years. But finally it was finished, and they had over 400 men working on this mountain, trying to shape and carve the faces of the presidents. So Gutzon Borglum, he started it. Unfortunately, he died in the process, but thank God he had a son. His son was able to finish the work for him, and his son carved the rest, finished the rest of the job. So in total, it was 14 years they took to make this. And so we'll look at some pictures and stuff tomorrow, like we normally do on Wednesdays, but this is Mount Rushmore. So you could visit there and you could actually see this in person. So if you ever want to go to South Dakota, you could come and visit and see Mount Rushmore with the 4 heads of those 4 presidents. Okay, so let's look at 54. Let's keep moving. So now we are moving on to Wyoming, which is another state. So we were in South Dakota. Wyoming is right here to the left of South Dakota. So South Dakota, Wyoming is next door. So this is one of the most famous national parks. I would love to go here one day. So this is one of the most famous national parks, and it's called Yellowstone National Park. Okay, has anyone heard of Yellowstone before? No, yes, maybe so. So Yellowstone National Park is a really popular park in Wyoming. That's the state that it's in, Wyoming. Yes, Dennis?
I've seen videos.
Huh?
You've seen shows.
Oh, you seen it on like shows before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really famous national park, one of the most famous ones. So yes, you can see a lot of wonders that God created in Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone is known for having what's called geysers. They have geysers all over the park, okay? A geyser is a spring of water, and it's usually really hot. It's natural water, okay? And it's some springs, kind of like when the Israelites went to Elim, remember? The springs of water? Well, that's like the same thing. Old Faithful has a ton of them. There are over 300 of them just in Yellowstone alone. So you can see all kinds of springs of water in Yellowstone. But there is one famous geyser, meaning it's known worldwide, and it's called Old Faithful. This geyser is in Yellowstone. Now, what makes Old Faithful so famous is that it shoots water out all the time. So as you can see on the picture here in the book, that's Old Faithful shooting out water. You see that, how it's all up, and people are standing there to watch because people travel from all over the world to see this happen in person. So for every 30 minutes to about an hour and a half, so somewhere in that time frame, Old Faithful will shoot water up every time. So then it'll shoot water up, it'll go down. If you wait about 30 minutes to an hour and a half, it'll do it again. That's why it's called Old Faithful, because it always does it, and it's always done this. And it's very hot water, so you don't want to be standing like right next to it. So that's one of the most famous things about Yellowstone is that they have Old Faithful, the geyser there, and it spouts water every 30 minutes to an hour and a half. You're gonna see it doing it every time. So that's why the people are standing there watching it, because if you wait, it's gonna happen. So there are over 300 different geysers in Yellowstone, but Old Faithful is the most famous one. Okay, so Yellowstone doesn't just have the geysers, they have a lot of beautiful waterfalls. You can see a lot of wild animals in Yellowstone, like some bears. You can see elk, deer, moose, buffalo, cougars, chipmunks, all kinds of animals. And this is where they live. This is their habitat. This is their home. So if you are there and you see them, you might want to walk away because this is actually their place. They live here. And like I told you, this is a national park. So these animals are protected. You can't go and hunt them and, you know, any of that. These animals are protected because of where they live. You're in their land. They're not in yours. So in Yellowstone, you can see all kinds of wild animals living freely in their land. In their land. So also you can see a lot of waterfalls, you can see lakes and rivers. So you can go fishing, you can go canoeing, you can go hiking in Yellowstone. If you like to do any of those things, I know you like to fish, Mariah, but if you like to hike or fish or, you know, ride in a boat, you could do all of that in Yellowstone. Go camping, you can do all of that in Yellowstone National Park because, you know, it's a nature, it's a place of nature, it's open land. So Yellowstone is a beautiful national park, one of the most famous ones in America. It's known for those geysers. Old Faithful in particular is the most famous geyser because it shoots water faithfully every 30 minutes to an hour and a half. It will shoot water every 2 hours. Sorry. Yep. So also you can see a lot of wild animals. You can go hiking, camping, any of that. So if you like to do any of those things, you like nature, like Miss Blugence, I love to be outside, I love nature, then that will be the place for you to go and visit. Maybe we can take a field trip. Yeah. Would y'all like to take a field trip there?
No more animal field
Yeah, no more.
Animal field
All right, good. So that is Old Faithful. Yellowstone. So there's another national park we'll visit in Wyoming. So we're still in Wyoming, not leaving. Wyoming is a state. So we're in South Dakota, and then we go to Wyoming here. So we went to Yellowstone. Now we'll visit another national park, which is Grand Teton National Park. Okay. So Grand Teton is pretty, you know, beautiful. It doesn't have as much as Old Faithful, Yellowstone has, but it's still a beautiful national park. Grand Teton is really known for the mountains there. They have these beautiful mountains that you could hike, or you could just sit by, you could just look at and see, as you can see on the picture, and they're really high up. That's why there's snow on the top of them, because they're super high in the sky. The higher you go in the sky, the colder it gets, right? So the in Grand Teton, it's known mostly for the mountains, because the mountains are extremely beautiful. You could hike, you could do all of that in Grand Teton, the mountains, and they also have lakes and all of that. There's also a lot of wild animals that live there, just like in Yellowstone. Beavers, moose, deer, elk, all of these different kind of animals live inside of Grand Teton National Park as well. So the highest mountain in Grand Teton is 13,000 feet high. So really high mountain, right? Really high mountain in Grand Teton. Also, they have swans there. So yeah, I've heard of a swan before, right? The bird swan. Well, they have some there in Grand Teton. So and that's actually it on the picture there. But yeah, so that's another cool thing. That's not something you see often, swans. So that's a beautiful thing you could see there. Yeah. Yeah. So they have a nickname for the mountains in Grand Teton, and they call them the Alps of America, because there are some Alp mountains in Europe, which we'll talk about that when we get to our world tour. And in Grand Teton, the mountains are similar to those in Europe. So they call them the Alps of America, because they have the Alps in Europe, which is another country, and then Grand Teton reminds them of the Alps here in America. So that's the nickname for the mountains in Grand Teton. Okay. So both of these national parks are in Wyoming, not Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore with the presidents is in South Dakota, but Yellowstone and Grand Teton are in Wyoming. And so they're both beautiful national parks. Yellowstone is known for the geysers and all the wild animals and all the different things you can do there. Grand Teton is really known for the mountains, how beautiful they are, but they also have a lot of animals that live freely there too. And their highest mountain is 13,000 feet high. So if you want to go hiking, you can hike that mountain. Yeah, cool. All right, so that's our 3 places that we're visiting this week in social studies, our 3 national parks. So we'll be on the national parks for a couple of weeks now. I mean, for next week, and then when we come back from the break, we'll do 2 weeks of national parks. Then we'll start our world tour. Okay. All right, awesome. So that's your social studies lesson on the beautiful national parks that the Lord created. So God gave us these beautiful places so that we could say God is great.
Is it reading
Every tree?
time?
Wow.
One side. I only have to use one side of the paper.
Okay, for everything?
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's go ahead. We'll move on to our math. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our math. All right, so let's look first up here at the tally marks that we have up here. All right, so remember yesterday we did practice tally marks. So tally marks are used usually to keep count of something or to keep score of something. So whenever we have the tally marks, remember, an easier way to count these is if we pay attention to the diagonal line across. When the diagonal line is across like this, what does that mean? It's a total of 5. So that means we will count it by 5. So let's start with the first one. What would I say?
5, 10, 15, 20.
So it's 20. There's nothing else after, so we stop at 20. So anytime it has that diagonal line across, that's a total of 5. So all you do is count by 5s. The only time you won't count them by 5s is if it's singles, then you'll start to count by 1s. So you just have to make sure to pay close attention to it. All right, so today I want to practice actually drawing out tally marks on our own, okay? So if you could get a little sleep paper so that we can practice those together. No, I'm gonna give you a card.
Why did you step my chair? I'm stepping your way. I couldn't pass the chair. You couldn't pass the chair. Oh my God. I don't have a pencil. No. Why keep telling me what you know you
Okay. Put your mask on.
It's good.
What's it right? All right.
Telling us?
All right, so I'm gonna show you an example up here first of how you can draw it to make sure that you're drawing the correct amount, and then I'll let you try on your own. So say if I needed to draw 11 tally marks. Don't do this. I just want you to just look, okay? So I need to draw 11 tally marks, okay? So I have to take my time and pay close attention to what I am doing to make sure that I draw the correct amount. So if I'm drawing 11, the first thing I'll do is I'll start off. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. What do I do with 5? Cross. So that's 5. Keep counting. 6, 7, 8, 9.
10.
How do I put 10? Cross. Now, I can't keep going to another 5, right? So I did 5, 10. What do I do? 11. That's how I show 11. So I drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's how many I needed. 11. So you have to count them as you go. If you count them, that'll make it easier as you're drawing it out. If you don't count them, it will be really hard. You'll just draw them, and then after you're going to count and say, oh, I got the wrong amount. So count them as you're drawing. Let me show you another example. Say if I needed to draw 23 tally marks. So I start and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, cross 5, 6, 7. I have to keep my count. So 6, 7, 8, 9, cross for 10. It's like you're counting by 5. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21,
22, 23.
Look at that. That's 23 tally marks. If you ever lose count, start over again, okay? Don't try to say, what was it? Let me just, no, start over again. Why? Because you will start to have this on your test, and I want you to do well. So make sure that you're taking your time and you're counting as you are drawing them, okay? So let's try. So let's start off with an easy one. Let's start off with 8 tally marks. Can you draw me 8 tally marks?
Wait, I'm not ready. I did it wrong.
That's okay.
I'm done. It's like this. I did it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Uh-huh.
Here you go.
Okay, good.
I have my extend 8.
Why are you so far up? Yeah, back up a little bit.
Since I did it. I did it.
Okay. When you get it, let me see. Let me see.
Need a little baby sandwich. The first one. I was the first one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either. I was the first one though. Because the right wasn't the one I was though. But you did. No, I didn't. Yeah. And 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's see. 8. Okay, Dennis, you have your 8. I didn't see.
But I was you want to
Well, what did it? Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So that was an easy one. Let's go a little bit more. For the next one, let's do 17. 17 tally marks.
Okay,
So keep your count as you go through it, but count in your mind so that you don't distract anyone around you.
I got it. Why is it too big? No, it's not. You on the right? Me?
Oh, I see it now. Okay, I was looking at the other one. Okay, good. I see it.
I can't cut it.
Okay, let's see. Wait, hold it still. I can't see. That's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, not see. Okay. That's 18. Too many. Erase 1.
There you go. I can't concentrate. I put it not 17.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's try one more.
It's gonna be 100.
I'm gonna make this one bigger. Let's see. Let's try 39.
No.
Oh yeah, 39. Y'all are doing good. So I think y'all got this.
Okay.
39.
Again.
I know that y'all have it.
I guess so. This is easy though. I can't concentrate.
Okay, guys, please don't do that.
I can't concentrate. I can't concentrate. Here you go, Miss Florence.
Can you count in your mind so that you don't distract anyone?
Here you go, Miss Florence.
Okay.
You saw it?
Uh-huh. Good. that's what I had said, guys, like twice. So that, yeah, if you counting while someone else is trying to count, you're gonna distract them and they won't be able to count.
I did it with school.
Okay, Dennis, let's see. Let me see, bring it to me. Let's see.
I put 31.
You did 40. Too many.
What? 40?
It's 39.
40. I did 40. I did 40.
6, okay?
9, 10.
You did too much too. You did 40 as well.
14,
Okay, Dennis, good.
15, 17, 18, 19.
All right, y'all can work together.
I was not done yet. Now did I do it right?
Let's go.
Let's go first, Brian.
Okay, awesome. So that's 39. So good. So I think we kind of have tally marks down. So if we see it in our book or on the test, it's the same thing. Okay, same exact thing. Always count as you go through it. And as you count, you're gonna stay on track. When you don't count, that's when you'll lose count, you'll lose track, and then you'll be like, where am I? I don't know where I am. And we don't want that to happen, okay? All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and do a couple of more things on the board.
What if it was on one and it didn't?
All right, let's go ahead and practice some time. So remember, we have two hands on our clock. We have our long hand, which is our minute hand, short hand, which is your hour hand. The long hand always tells you what minute we're on. So far, we've only learned o'clock, which is to the hour. So the minute hand will be where? To show a new hour.
12.
On the 12. And then our short hand, hour hand, that'll be in different
1, 2, 3,
places.
4,
No,
5, 6,
that'll be in different places. Yes. All right. So let's look at the first one. Let's do the first time.
Crazy good hands.
Okay. Okay. All right. What's my time? Okay.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Good.
Five, 10, 15, 20.
Okay. Time. Joshua.
65, 70, 75, 80.
Oh, you're on mute, Joshua. Yeah, that's why I can't hear. I don't know if it keeps
Can't
messing
see
up.
it.
Yeah, I'm trying to fit. Okay, this should be better. Yeah.
11
yeah.
o'clock.
11 o'clock. Good. Okay, one more. Okay, what's my time? Kinley?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Awesome. All right, so look at these earrings that I have here. I want to figure out how many pairs I can get out of these 5 earrings. How do I show my pairs? What do I do to show how many pairs I have of the earrings? What do I do? Naraya, tell me. Circle what? Circle pairs. How many is a pair? So I circle them in 2s. All right. So I have 1, 2. That's how many? 1 pair. 1, 2. How many? 2 pairs. Can I do anything with this?
No.
Can't circle it because it's only 1. So how many pairs can I make?
2.
2 pairs out of 5 earrings. Awesome. All right. So I have 48 and 56. Okay. I have 48 to 56 when I count from 48 to 56. I want to figure out which one of these numbers can go right here. It will fit in between 48 and 56. Now, you may look at it and say, oh, I automatically know. But if you're not sure, this is the way you can figure out what number goes in between. You can count from 48 to 56. You will say one of these numbers when you're counting. One of these numbers will be able to go in between 48 and 56, meaning when you're counting, it'll go. So let's count from 48 to 56. So 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. We said one of these numbers Which one did we say as we were counting?
51.
51. So that means 51 can go in between 48 and 56. 42 will come before, that will not work. 58 will come after 56, so that will not work. But 51 falls right in between 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. So 51, yes. Because when we count from 48 to 56, 51 is in there. Yeah, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, all the way to 56.
I don't get it. 486.
No, it's not 480, it's 48. We're trying to figure out which number falls in between these two numbers. So we had to pick out of these three, which one came in between these two. So we can count, use starting here and finishing here. When we count starting with this number and we stop at this number, we said 51. We didn't say 42 because that came before. And we didn't say 58 because that came after. But when we count 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 51 was in there when we counted. You have it in your book today. And so when we look at it, we'll go over it together. All right, so tomorrow we'll go more into this lesson, but I just want to introduce it today. So most of the time, whenever we are adding our math facts, usually we're adding just two facts together, right? We'll have something like 3 plus 2 equals 5 or something like that. Like here, 3 plus 2 is 5, right? We'll have different things like that. But today I want to introduce what's called double digit addition. Double digit addition is whenever we are adding two numbers at one time. So as you can see, double digit meaning two numbers, 16 and 32. So that's what we'll practice tomorrow, but I just want to show you today what this looks like because this is what we are now going to start learning, how to add double numbers. So usually we're used to just adding like a 6 plus 2, but now we have two rows of numbers that we're going to add. We look at them on as a top. This is 16 and this is 32. So we are trying to add 16 plus 32. There are certain steps we have to take whenever we add numbers like this, okay? Like I said, tomorrow we'll actually do a worksheet in the book. Today I just want to show you what it looks like, and you'll actually start this on tomorrow, okay? So we have these two numbers, 16 plus 32. Whenever I'm adding double digit numbers like this, I always start with my back numbers first. Always start adding from the back all the time. So what that means is I always start in the back and I go from top to bottom. I never start with the back and go 6 plus 1. No. I start in the back and I go from the top number plus the bottom number, just how you normally add. So that means I would do 6 plus 2, and that would equal 8. And I will put the answer 8 underneath 6 plus 2 because it equals 8. After I add my back numbers, guess what? I go to the front numbers, which would be 1 plus 3, and that equals 4. So then I put the answer underneath, 48 cents. So that is how we add double digit numbers. We always start in the back. We add the 2, top to bottom, drop the answer. Then we go to the front, top to bottom, drop the answer. So like I said, tomorrow we'll do it more. I just want to introduce it, but this is what we'll move on to now, adding double digit numbers. Do you think you can do that?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be pretty easy. It will. All right. So that is it for our math lesson on today. We will move on to phonics. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our phonics. We have something new that we're learning today. Let's start with chart 9. And we will go into chart 10. Okay, our new charts that we introduced yesterday. All right, let's look at chart 9. All right, let's say it together in 3. 1, 2, 3. ING says ing, and pointing. KN says and not. Oh, GN says and not. ANG says ang, and bang. ING says ing. ONG says and strong. A and K says ang, and bang. IN says ink, and wink. ONK says NK says and trunk. WA says wah, and wash. A says and adopt. Y says and baby. LE says and little. ED says and one day. ED says and look. ED says and played. All right. And let's go ahead and look at chart 10. Our new chart, so you can say the sounds after me. So WH says wah in whale. WH says in who. So that yesterday. TCH says ch in patch. EAR says ear in ear. EAR says air in bear. OLD says old in gold. MB says in lamb. EW says ooh in flu. EW says you in few. Y says e in rainy. ER says in bigger. EST says S in biggest. LY says Lee in slowly. EN says in sharpen. ES says S in peaches. ILD says iod in child. IND says ein in kind. Awesome. All right. Okay. All right. No, y'all all singing at the same volume. All right, so today we are going to move on to learning how to apply a suffix to certain root words, okay? So we've already learned what's a root word and a suffix. We've already learned that. Remember, a root word is your beginning word, the word that you start with, and then your suffix is what you attach to the end of the word. So we've learned ing as a suffix and all the eds. Today, we also have a new suffix, which is s. Whenever we add s to a word, right? It's also a suffix as well because it creates a new word. But sometimes whenever we add a suffix to a word, there are certain rules we have to follow before we put the suffix on the word. So for example, when we did looked, we have look, L-O-O-K, and then we just simply add ed, and it becomes looked. But some words require you to do a certain thing before you add your suffix, okay? So if we look at these words here, all three of my root words here, so I have run, hop, fit, nap, and rob. We can see that all three of them have three letters, right? Do they all have a sharp vowel in the middle? Yes. And do they all end with a consonant? Yes. A consonant is any letter that's not a vowel. So that N, P, T, P, B, those are consonants. All three of these words have a sharp vowel and they end with a consonant. Whenever you run across a root word that looks just like this, meaning it has a sharp vowel and it ends in a consonant, guess what you have to do? Double that consonant before you add the suffix to the word, okay? So let's look at S, for example. Now, when it comes to S, there's no rule we follow with S. Normally, we would just write the root word and we add the suffix. So run becomes runs. Hop will become hops. Fits will become fits. Nap will become naps. Rob will become robs, okay? So we just simply add an S to it. But that will change once we get to the ing. So anytime you have suffix S that you're adding to a word, you don't do anything to it. You just add the S. But when it comes to ing and ed and all the other suffixes, there's something different that we have to do. So again, so remember, these root words, the ones right here, all have a sharp vowel and they end with consonants. Let me show you. Sharp vowel consonant N. Sharp vowel consonant P. Sharp vowel I, consonant T. Sharp vowel A, consonant P. Sharp vowel consonant B. All of them have, excuse me, all of them have a vowel and a consonant. So whenever your root word has a vowel and a consonant, you will double that consonant, meaning you'll put another one. You'll put two of them. So when I have run, one second. Okay, so anytime we have the sharp vowel and the consonant, we double the consonant. So when I look at run, before I add ing, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put R-U-N-N-I-N-G. I doubled that consonant. So that last letter, that N, the consonant, was doubled before I added suffix ing. Same thing with hop. I want to turn hop into hopping. Guess what I'll do? H-O-P-P-I-N-G. Doubling that consonant. Anytime your root word has a sharp vowel and a consonant, before you add your suffix, double that consonant like I did here. Okay, next one is fit. I want to turn it into 15. Could anyone tell me how would I write 15? 15. Good. Fitting. Okay, double the consonant. Next, I have nap. Let's turn it into napping. Okay, Dennis, how would I write napping?
NAPPING.
Good. Napping. NAPPING. Awesome. Next, we have rob. Let's turn rob into robbing. How would I write robbing?
ROO.
Consonant.
BBING.
ROBBING. Okay, do we see it?
Yes.
Do we understand the rule? That
Yes.
if the root word has a sharp vowel and it ends in a consonant, what do you do to the consonant?
Double the
consonant, meaning put two of them before you add your suffix. Now, do we do this to all of them? No. What does the root word have to have? What does the root word have to have?
Consonant.
A sharp vowel and a consonant. A sharp vowel and a consonant. It has to have that. Sharp vowel consonant in order to double the consonant, because some of them will not have that. So you just apply the suffix. But some root words you have to have, there's a rule you follow. And in this case, if it's a sharp vowel consonant, you double that consonant. Okay, and you'll practice in your book too. Okay, so let's go over some clue cards and then we'll be done with our phonics. We have language and then and reading, then we'll be done. No, I don't have time. Okay.
Can I go to the bathroom? I like showing. 1, 0, 0.
All right. What is that? Oh, wow.
Are those heavy?
Let's go ahead and go with some clue cards. All right, so we have ANG says ang, and bang. All right, this is what you do with pictures when you put them on the wall. You what? Okay, hang them up. Good. Okay, next we have ING says ing, and king. All right, this is what you could wear on your finger. Jewelry. You could wear a what, Dennis?
Ring.
Ring. Good. Next we have ONG says ong, and long. All right, this is something that people write and then they sing it. They write a song. Yes. UNG says ung, and strong. All right, this is what frogs will have when they hop out of the water. They don't have gills anymore. They now have
I can't see it. Lung.
a lung. Okay, lung. ANK says ank, and bang. All right, this is what trucks sometimes have on it where they carry things. They'll carry things inside of this. Kinley?
Wait.
ANK, ain't. Tank. Yeah, some trucks have a tank. Well, they carry things in it. Like in a gas tank. INK says ink, like in wink. Okay, this is what you will wash dishes in. Dennis, the what?
Sink.
The sink. UNK says unk, like in trunk. All right, this is a move you can do playing basketball. You can do this with the ball. You can do what? Dunk it. Awesome. WA says wa, like in wash. Okay, this is an animal we could find near the ocean. Joshua?
Oh, this is an easy one. Oh, I don't know. Then why do you waste again?
Wow.
I know it. Animal is animal. Really?
We'll find this animal near the ocean.
I know it. I know it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. You're a minute now.
Well.
Oh, well is WH. This is WA. Wow.
I think I know.
A what?
Walrus. A yeah, walrus.
I didn't know they had a.
Yeah, walrus.
Walrus have 20 teeth down
Yeah.
here.
Y says E like in baby. All right. This is the opposite of sad would be to be what, Kinley?
Happy.
Happy. LE says little like in little. Okay, this is where you can keep animals. You can keep animals in a barn, yes, but that's not the word. LE, little. You can keep animals inside of a what, Faith?
This one. It's a big one.
Okay, let's see. Dennis, help her out. What do you have?
I don't know. Yeah.
It's like a barn. It's the same thing. It's just another name for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Jungle.
A stable?
Stable.
Stable.
I know.
Jungle.
Miss Lucy, they put Bible on there.
Yeah, that's because it has the LE. ED says ed in wanted. All right, this is what planes do whenever their route is finished. They will do what?
Land.
Did they landed? Yes. ED says and look. Okay, this is a way you can eat potatoes.
Oh, that one easy. Wait, I don't know it, but I just know.
Okay, Naraya. Oh well, yeah, but that's not the one. I didn't see cooked was on there. Another one. Okay, Joshua, you have your hand up. What's another way we can eat potatoes?
I know it. You said it. That one.
Smash.
Mashed potatoes, yes. ED says like in played. Okay. This is what Moses always did when the people just
can we
complain and complain. What is it? Pray. All right, new sounds. WH says what like in well. Okay, this is a type of bread you could eat. It's a healthier type of bread.
I don't know that. I know. We say it together if we know it.
Okay, let's see. Go ahead, Dennis. Wheat.
I know it.
WH says like in who? Okay. Whenever I want to figure out what something belongs to, I would say what? Who? What would I say, Faith?
This is easy peasy lemon.
I want to figure out who it belongs to. So the question I would ask would start with what? Who? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who's whoever. Okay. TCH says like in pass. Okay. This is where we cook.
Oh wow, that's easy. Yes, you just said it.
Okay, Joshua. This is where we cook in the what?
Kitchen.
Kitchen. Awesome. Good. All right. So that is it for phonics. Let's go ahead and do our language.
I forgot what's next.
And then reading. Sorry, I said one lesson, but we have two. I forgot about language. So we have well, yeah. Yes, somebody have a question?
Can you see my screen picture is upside down?
Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, it is.
I'm raising my hand. Can you see my hand the right way up?
No, I'm not sure, but you can fix it the right way. All right, so let's go ahead and go over All right, so we've been learning the different types of sentences. So we've learned statements, which tell us something, give us information, basic sentence. And we've learned questions whenever we ask something. So today we are going to learn what's called command. Well, yesterday we learned it, but we're going to practice some more today with commands, right? So a command sentence will give an order. So it's telling you to do something. Give you an order or tells you to do something, makes a request. So anytime you have a sentence that will give an order, meaning it's telling you to do something, then it's a command. You have to do it. Okay, does anyone remember some of the examples of commands?
Go wash the dishes.
Wash the dishes. That's one.
When do we stop at social setting?
You read it once?
Well, on 91.
Wash is 93. Wash the dishes.
Josh, pay attention.
That's an example of a command. It's telling you to do something. It's giving you an order. Wash the dishes. What's another one? A command, Dennis.
Wash your dishes.
Yeah, that's the one right here.
Clean your room.
Clean your room. Command. It's telling you to do something, giving you an order. Clean your room. What's another one? Joshua? What's a sentence that would tell you to do something? It's a
Put on your
command.
clothes.
Put on your clothes.
I was about to say, I don't care if you can't, but just drive the car.
Okay, what's another one?
Listen to your parents.
Listen, well, obey your parents. That's our scripture. Obey your parents. Another command.
I love you. Obey your parents.
Okay, do we have any more? Kinley?
Do your schoolwork.
Do your work. Okay, one more.
And it can say
A command.
take her to school.
Take her to school.
Like now. That's how I take her to school.
Good. So all of these are examples of command sentences. They are giving you an order and telling you to do something. Commands also start with capital letters and they end with a period. So when you look at them, they may look like a statement, but you have to read it in order to know if it's a statement or command. And a command sentence will tell you to do something. It will say, get this done. And if you get it done, then you obey. But anyway, a command will give you an order and it will tell you to do something. So all of these are examples of commands. Okay, so on the test on Thursday, you'll have to identify which one is which. We'll have questions, statements, and commands on there. So you have to read it and pay attention, pay close attention. Now, questions we kind of know because questions will end with the what? Question mark. That's how we'll know it's a question. But other than that, you have to make sure pay close attention to the commands. Okay, if it's telling you to do something and giving you an order, then it is a command sentence. Okay, so I just wanted to review that and work on some examples. Use some of these for the test on Thursday. All right, let's do our reading and then we'll be done for the day. All right, here's my reading. I have it today.
You read it? No, I want to read it.
All right, we're on 26.
Yes, sir.
All right, the bird nest. All right, come on, Ryan. You'll read half, and I'll let someone do the other half. So the bird nest. Words to watch for: both, found, fur, come, what, count, want, first, push, ground, and hurt. All right. Title: the bird nest.
The bird nest. One day, Chad fell on bird nest in the beer.
Ours is earth.
5 fir tree. Here he ran to tell bird, come quick,
Look at that ARR.
Bard, come quick, Bard, he said. See what I have found. Who look, said Bard, I see birds in the nest. Let me count them.
All right, good. Okay, so we're introduced to Chad. And what does he find?
A bird nest.
Right? And so who does he tell about the bird nest?
Bard.
Bar, right? And so what did he want to do with all the eggs in the nest? He wanted to count them. All right, let's see. We're still on 26.
Can I read?
I'm trying to see. Okay, go ahead, Kenley. They're not gonna hear that. All right, you wait. And you can read 27 too.
You wait your turn, said Tad. I found these birds and I want to count them first. I'm here now, said Bart. You just wait your turn, Tad gave Bart. But first, Bart fell down to the ground.
Okay, so they are both wanting to count first, right? So what does Chad end up doing to Barb?
Push her.
He pushed her down, right? Because he wanted to be first, she wanted to be first, and it resulted in them fighting, and he pushed her down. Yeah, they both. Okay, so anyone? Okay, come on, Faith. 28.
Chad felt bad, Bart. Are you hurt? He said, I did not mean to hurt you. Let me know. Let me help you up. We will not have fun if we act like this. I am not hurt. I will be fine, said Barb. You may look first, said Chad.
Okay. So Chad felt bad after pushing her down, and was she hurt?
No.
She was not, right? And so what does Chad decide to let her do?
Go first.
He decides to let her go first because he realized, it wasn't right to push her down. Okay, and 29.
I can read.
Okay, come on, all right.
Everybody.
Okay, well, Dennis raised his hand. All right, you can go ahead, Dennis. 29.
We can both count the birds, said Barb. Can count as well as me. Barb and both said 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. So Chad realizes, he says, I'll let you go first, Barb, because guess what? We can what? Both count. So he lets her go first. And how many eggs was there in the nest?
3.
It was 3. There were 3 eggs in the nest. And so they learned about being kind to one another. And Chad, he pushed her, but then he realized he made a mistake. So he allowed her to go first. All right, awesome. All right, so that's our story on today about Chad and Barb and the bird's nest. All right, so that was it, guys. That was our last. Oh yeah, your spelling. I do want to go over your spelling because I did not go over your Greek and Latin with you on yesterday. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Okay, so we're on list 14 this week.
Well, I might have broke my book. I did not. Somebody broke the book. Oh no! You tell them not to break the book.
All right, so let me go ahead and show it to you. So your Greek, not Greek, your spelling list this week has the IGHI sound and ITE, ites in it. So you do have some bigger words in there like delight, invite, polite, So really practice. So let's go ahead and go over your Greek words. That's what I wanted to go over. So one of your Greek word this week is logos, 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 and it means word. And then you have two Latin words. Remember, we're learning parts of the body. Last week we learned caput, which is head, and manus, which is hand. So this week we have pedis, 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 and it means foot. Like when someone says, I want to get a pedicure, that means they want to get their feet polished or whatever. And then we have dentis, dentis, dentis means tooth. Tooth. And like we get the word dentist from dentist, right? It's only one letter that's missing out of dentist to make dentist. Dentist. And so, okay. So that's your Greek and Latin, your words this week. You have 18 as usual. Next week we'll actually be going into 20 words. So just be ready for that one next week. All right, so that completes all of our lessons today, guys. I'm happy that you were able to log in. I will put the video up. Your Bible's up if you need to go over it too. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.